just the excitement that the Sugar Bowl has potentially having not only Georgia, but kind of looking ahead when this quarterfinal playoff kind of like unfolds and having the possible matchups. Either had Notre Dame or Indiana here.
To say that we're related is an understatement right now. We're excited about the possibilities for the matchup this year. It's really a historical moment in the Sugar Bowl's history, the first year of the 12-team playoff, and to have it have the opportunity that we have in front of us right now. Georgia's got great history here and has been here recently and proven one, they've got a great football team, but they've got a great fan base. And we've also got experience. I've been around long enough to have worked with Notre Dame in the past too, where they traveled well, and a lot of the local community gets excited when Notre Dame comes to town. And Indiana, what a season they had, the 11-1, and their only loss was to Ohio State. Kurt Signetti has done a great job there. If you don't know anything about him, just Google him. And anyway, so we think it'll be a great game, no matter who the final two teams wind up being. But we're looking forward to it and excited.
Well, just kind of because you mentioned this is the first year of the playoff, and all these bowls, obviously you don't know what matchups you're going to get initially when this thing starts, but the way this kind of like season unfolded and eventually when you saw the teams are available, were you guys always excited going, no matter what, we were always going to get a good, some good quality teams here, and that was never like in danger because of this playoff?
We've been excited about this for 3 years since the 12-team playoff was announced. We were, just thought it being a game that matters every year was important to us, because when we were hosting semifinals every 3 years, honestly, there were some in-between years that were a little lean for us. So to have games that matter every year, that are going to have teams of national significance, that people are going to pay attention to and want to buy tickets to come see, it meant a lot to us, and so we've been excited. And it's been one of the most interesting college football seasons in memory. Just a lot of parity out there, and you didn't know what was going to happen from week to week. So it was fun to watch, and I think the end product for us is going to be great.
Yeah, obviously Georgia is the team that won 2 of the last 3 national championships. Just what have you seen from the Bulldogs this year, knowing that they're coming to town?
Well, it's been an interesting year for them. I don't know if I'm letting the cat out of the bag, but many moons ago I used to work there, so I just still know a lot of people there, and it's been kind of by their standards a little up and down, but they found a way to win, and they found a way to win in big games, and we'll see how healthy they are. I know they're looking forward to getting healthy with the bye that they earned as a result of winning the SEC championship game. But I know I was in Atlanta last night for the game, and people are excited about the opportunity to come to New Orleans. So I think you'll see a lot of Bulldogs here on Bourbon Street, come January.
What was the atmosphere like for you watching it, being there in the atmosphere?
It was really exciting. It was the intensity of that. You've got Texas, which had long been a national powerhouse, but they're new in the SEC circles, and they were trying to flex a little bit, I think, and rightfully so. They're a great program. And Georgia was trying to hold serve, in their hometown, and it really worked out. It was a good mix in the crowd, and the whole game, with it being close and then going into overtime, the atmosphere was just, it was pretty special if you're a college football fan. I'm sitting in the press box, so I had to be quiet and act like, I wasn't excited, but it was a lot of fun to watch.
In this new scope of college football, obviously, like in the past, there's been the SEC and the Big 12, let's say, is associated with the Sugar Bowl and so on and so forth. With the selection today, did y'all have the choice of the SEC champion, or how essentially did Georgia get designated to you?
So this year and next year will be a quarterfinal game, and we know by contract that we're going to get the higher ranked of the SEC champion or the Big 12 champion. And as the season progressed, there was a point in time when BYU, midway through the season, was ranked pretty high. And so we were thinking there was a possibility that it might be a Big 12 team, and we were watching SEC teams beat up on each other. So we weren't sure what was going to happen at that point in time. But as we got down the stretch, then the Big 12 started to knock each other off and kind of slipped a little bit in the rankings. So it was pretty clear the last few weeks that that we'd have the SEC champion in the game.
What are the operational differences with the quarterfinal, not knowing who one of the teams is going to be until, 11 days out before the game?
Obviously, there are a lot. You know, we've had to make a lot of contingency planning. It's quite frankly, it's you know, the college football playoff has preached to us that it's more of a business trip than a bowl trip. We're trying to still make it a bowl trip and show off the best that New Orleans has to offer, but we've got to live within the confines that have been established, and we're happy to do so. But it's definitely been different. It's a shorter week, but again, you know, we felt it was important to go out and compete for our spot in the expanded playoff because we saw what happens in the off years when you're not in the playoff. So again, to have a game that matters is really special to us, and we're proud to be part of it.
And with all the dome renovations, how excited are you for fans to kind of experience that for the first time in the Sugar Bowl?
Well, I was actually sitting yesterday at an event with former CFP Executive Director Bill Hancock, and I was bragging about the facility and anxious for him and everybody else to come and see it. It's we've got a building now that doesn't have to take a back seat to anybody in the country, and the added benefit that it's producing the revenue that we need to be doing in order to stay competitive. You know, quite frankly, there are a lot of cities, you know, over the last few years that have been trying to unseat us and others, you know, our spot in the playoff, and so, you know, we've got to be competitive, and the building's certainly going to help us do so in the future.
And while the game is already sold out, what does the dome say about that and the atmosphere that this will bring for college fans?
Well, I think they're excited about it. They should be. We're excited. It's going to have a big economic impact. The game will this year. You know, it's hard to project, but it'll probably be somewhere between 175 and 250 $million economic impact, given all the activity and the length of stay of what's going on. So that's a boon for the city during what would otherwise be, you know, a quiet period. We're proud to, again, be a part of it. That's part of the Sugar Bowl Committee's mission is to drive tourism through college football, and I think with the college football playoff quarterfinal, we're going to be hitting the mark.
When it comes to proximity, is Georgia year over year one of those schools that you can almost project to travel and really show out in an event like this, and do you almost like secretly root for teams like that?
Well, we're not supposed to root for anybody, but we do root for teams that travel well, and Georgia happens to be one of those. You know, they've proven it over time. They've been a regular in the college football playoff for several years now, and they've shown that they show up in big numbers and buy tickets and spend money in communities and what have you. And they won the national championship in Indianapolis. The city ran out of alcohol after the game, so they've got a great fan base, but as do others in the SEC and the Big 12. And you know, I'm sure that we have no experience with Indiana. Notre Dame will. I think I'm excited. We're going to do well this year.
I think we're good.
Anything
Thank
else?
you so